So I could even say that I really witnessed the birth of the microcomputer revolution or
Nice.
microelectronic revolution right there. Quite exciting times. He was particularly insisted that I don't study in Delhi because there'll be pressure to come home every time and something happening at home. So you go away from Delhi. I chose Pilani. I remember those days we had to wear uniform to college.
Oh,
In winters, grey trousers and white shirt and blazer with a Pitch Pilani program. And telecommunication sounded a little fancy. So I had opted for that. And by that time, I was brainwashed by friends and whom I met all that you had to become a mechanical engineer. Otherwise, you are a subhuman being, you're a second class citizen.
hi everyone. I'm Mahana.
And I'm Sahana. Welcome back to another episode of the mini series, The League of Eminence. In this series, we bring to you the stories of highly distinguished Bits and Alim from various walks of life. This Independence weekend, we have for you an extremely special guest, someone who broke all molds and pleasantly surprised us with his refreshing thoughts and insights. He belongs to one of the very first batches of Bits Pilani and is a trained mechanical engineer.
Life threw many challenges at him, but his enterprising demeanor aced them all. You all know him as that quintessential politician, and today we tried to unmask that persona only to find the heart of an engineer. We are really excited to have him with us today, and without any further delay, let's welcome Mr. Prithvi Raj Chavan, former Chief Minister of Maharashtra, batch of 1963, Bits Pilani. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. It's such a huge honor. We're really happy to do this with you today. Firstly, how is everything during this
I'm fine. I'm speaking from my hometown, Karad, which is in South Maharashtra, Satara district. I keep on going to Mumbai every week for 2-3 days. But currently, I'm in my constituency, my hometown.
Okay.
It's a fairly well-known small city in Maharashtra. It is famous for its confluence of River Krishna and River Koyna.
Wow.
And it's a fairly politically active place. During the freedom struggle, we had a very aggressive freedom movement in Satara district.
Mm-hmm.
And I belong, as you know, to a political family. Both my parents were in parliament. My constituency, which is South Karad, consists of 2 municipalities and about 70% population is a rural population.
Okay.
Many of the rural people work in Mumbai as head load carriers, so-called Mathari Kamgars. So I have represented Karad many times, 3 times in Lok Sabha and now second time in Assembly.
So without further ado, let's start with the very first segment where we'll take you down a quick trip down memory lane. What made you choose mechanical engineering, and that too at Bits Pilani, which was fairly new at the time? And there were already other well-established government colleges like the IITs. And when did this love for mechanical engineering really come about?
My father was a lawyer and he practiced on the criminal side. He joined politics, he's an active politician. In our time, I had my primary education in Karad, a very primitive place at that time in 1950s. When I did my 7th examination, it used to be a board examination that time, and we had to join the high school. It was about the same time my father got elected to parliament for the first time. So parents had a choice of whether let me continue my high school in Karad, which was a small town, or to go to Delhi because my father was going to be in Delhi as a member of parliament. So my parents, after a lot of discussion, as usually happens, uh, about fixing what children should do, thought that maybe let's give Delhi a try. Now, Maharashtra system was fairly weak compared to Delhi higher secondary pattern. And when I had passed my 7th standard examination and had gone to 8th class, and I should have been admitted 8th class. But when I went to Delhi, the medium of instructions was English, Hindi, and my education was in Marathi. And I had very little background in English and even less in Hindi. So virtually every good school in Delhi shooed me out. They said, look, where is this Dehati fellow has come from and all that. Literally, it was a very humiliating experience. And I realized the differences in the education standards from where I came from and in Delhi. So almost we had decided to pack our bags and go back to Karad, to a high school in Karad, a really good high school. But then I came across, or my parents came across one institution which was run by Maharashtrian Education Society in Delhi.
Okay.
And so we just dropped in there to see what was happening. And the principal there, they explained to us the differences between the education system in Maharashtra and in Delhi. And they said, look, it is a little hard for you because standards are quite different. But then the principal explained to us that in Delhi, we had 11th class was the higher secondary. Immediately after that, we went and joined college. After a lot of convincing, I realized that I won't lose any year and that it will be better to study in Delhi. So I joined that high school, which was run by Maharashtrian Education Society. So when I graduated, 11th class was a big board examination, very, very major examination, higher secondary examination. Even now it is, I think, an important examination. But it's after 12 years of schooling. It was after 11 years of schooling. And then we are going to be admitted. I wanted to do engineering. I didn't want to do arts or sciences, arts or political science or law even. I was somehow fascinated by engineering. And there was nobody in the family who had an engineering background. It was my own idea. And so we had a choice of joining engineering college, which was a 5-year course that time. And there were some 4 IITs at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Delhi wasn't an IIT.
Mm-hmm.
Delhi had just become a Delhi College of Engineering. And I'm talking about 1962. It wasn't an IIT. So I applied to Delhi Engineering College, got admission there, but not in a very good branch. I also wrote the IIT entrance examination without knowing what IITs were. And then was selected and then went for an interview to Kanpur. There I realized that unless you become a mechanical engineer, you're a second-class citizen. The whole atmosphere was such that mechanical was the chosen discipline, then electrical engineering, then others. But I had opted for telecommunications engineering, not knowing the difference between mechanical and telecommunication, nobody to advise. Telecommunication sounded a little fancy. So I had opted for that. And since I had performed fairly well in my 11th class, so from the students who went from Delhi to Pilani, I had ranked fairly high.
Okay.
But by that time, I was brainwashed by the friends and whom I met, all that you had to become a mechanical engineer. Otherwise, you are a subhuman being, you're a second-class citizen. So I argued there and saying, look, please change my branch from telecom to mechanical. They said, no, what? You had opted for mechanical, you take your choice. And the director there in BITS Pilani told me that, okay, we will consider your request, but out of the 5-year course, you first do first 2 years, which is common for all. And if you score well, then we'll consider a change of branch request. So I accepted that, worked very hard. Let me tell you that it was not BITS that time. It was Birla Engineering College under Jaipur University.
Okay.
But in second year, I think it was 1964, if I remember correctly, it got converted to an institution. So we got admitted to Birla Engineering College. And I remember those days we had to wear uniform to college. In winters, gray trousers and white shirt and blazer with a BITS Pilani and a particular colored tie. And in summer it was whites, all whites. You know. It was like a school. It is such, the discipline there was so strict. So it was not hardly any transition from school to college.
Right.
At that time, I got admission in Delhi Engineering College, but did not go because it was an unknown college, new college. I got admission in IITs, but my father wanted Mumbai, and then I also got, I think, Kanpur or Kharagpur, something. Three choices were given, but I didn't get the top branch like mechanical or electrical. I got, I think, the civil in one place, architecture in one place, chemical in third place. Uh, so I think at that point, I don't know how, because Pilani was not very well known. But somehow somebody must have come and met me and told me that, okay, let's go. Then I located Pilani on the map. It was very difficult to locate it because we don't know where it was.
Yeah.
And so finally we found out that it was some distance away from Delhi. By that time, he had become a union minister,
Okay.
and he had an official bungalow and all that with cars and staff cars. And he was particularly insisted that I don't study in Delhi because there'll be pressure to come home every time and something happening at home. So you go away from Delhi. I chose Pilani. I remember we drove to Pilani, and as we approached Loharu or whatever, after we crossed Bhiwani, uh, we encountered the desert, what you used to read in the geography books. Here, we're looking at the desert for the first time, and I said, my God, is this where we're going to be 5 years? But somehow I went there, got used to it, and pretty after about 6 months or so, the beautiful thing about BITS Pilani was it was a cosmopolitan institution from day one.
Yeah.
I joined. There were students from all over the country, and we made new friends and different uh, people from different states. They're all very good. The admission process was fairly strict based on merit alone. So the intake was quite good. And so we got used to Pilani and all the uh, pluses and minuses of Pilani, got used to it and spent 5 years. Uh, Quite enjoyable, I would say. It shaped my
Right.
personality.
Nice.
Right.
That's
I mean, I think BITS still has that thing, the diversity still exists. We have people, even today, we have people from everywhere in BITS, and it's not just majority, is not just for the localites or anything like that. So that still exists. So you joined BITS at a point where the institute had just formed, right? Like right in the beginning of it. So there was a lot of, it was on your batch to set the foundation, set the culture and standards for the next generations to come into the university. So how was that experience like for you?
Well, I think the Birla Institute, Birla Engineering College, and the girls' school, and all that was the higher secondary school was all there. It was a beautiful campus even then. It was a dream project of late G.D. Birla, who was still alive that time. And in the desert, a green oasis of a city was there. The beautiful Saraswati temple, a very well infrastructured institution, good staff and teachers and faculty. So I think uh, the, the thing that we compared with students from other institutions, and everybody used to be surprised that you had single-seated rooms, that a room per person. Normally, they're all dormitories or they're double-seated, triple-seated rooms, and we had to share a room with some partners. So they didn't have the privacy which a single-seated room gave. And so that was the specialty, uniqueness of BITS Pilani. And everybody used to wonder how this institute can afford a complete room for each person. One thing which strikes me very hard that it was strictly a vegetarian institute. We had very good messes and good food, but no, you couldn't even have an egg, or even before my time they said you couldn't even have onions in food. So then eggs were started, so we had eggs. But for non-vegetarian food, you had to go out to the campus to, either outside the campus, there used to be dhabas, or go to nearby place called Chidawa and all that, and have a good non-vegetarian meal, and then return to college. I think later on they changed that, and I think it was diluted slightly. But most of the things, the auditorium, I don't know, it's changed today perhaps, but it was a well-established institution back then. and very tough schedule from 8 o'clock in the morning to 5 in the evening with 1 hour lunch break. So 8 periods of 1 hour each was a very tough course. Now, when I compare to engineering the schooling today, 4 years and hardly very like a light kind of a course. I think we grilled into engineering was grilled into us. And after my 2 years of common studies and all that, I scored very well. I ranked in the university, and I got my branch changed from telecommunication to mechanical, and completed my 5 years. But if you got over a certain CGPA, a certain percentage, over 70%, then you are given an honors degree. You call BE honors or BTech honors. And I scored high, so I got the honors degree in mechanical engineering after 5 years of staying with Spilani. Later on, as a part of practice school, I don't know if you went through the practice.
Yes, yes.
At the practice school, I founded a small company in Delhi, what would be called a startup today, wasn't. And then we used to take some students from BITS Pilani to intern with us for 6 months, one semester.
Okay.
And so that was fun. And they also started something called Industry University Interaction Program. And I used to go to BITS Pilani for 6 months, once every month. Went on for about 5, 6, 7, 8 years. That association. So I continued to be associated with Spilani. But then, of course, in 91, I joined politics.
So after BITS Pilani, you also took the bold step of pursuing a master's degree from the University of California at Berkeley. Tell us a little more about how that came about and about your time there.
After I graduated, I had no clear-cut thought about going to a foreign university to get higher education. I was double mind whether I should go or not. Meanwhile, I had applied for some scholarship, and I got a Government of India scholarship to a UNESCO scholarship to study in Germany for 6 months. Since I had not applied for foreign university and had not got any admission, all my friends had left. People who had good academic background had gone, joined US universities. Somebody went to UK universities, and all that. And I was left standing right there, without any admission. So this offer of the scholarship came my way, just like that. Normally I'd applied and it came through. And I grabbed at it. Went to Germany, a small factory in Germany, very, very small village. And we did 6 months practical training. But it was a special program by German government for a graduate engineer from developing countries like India. But after going to Germany, and it was a bit of a culture shock to go from India in a different, completely different, sheltered kind of a home and sheltered university life to a completely different life in Germany. I immediately decided I must go for higher education in the US, so started applying. And many of my friends had already preceded me, but they left and joined the fall quarter. So I got admission in University of California, Berkeley. I did not know that Berkeley was one of the finest universities at that time, globally. It was rated to be one of the number 1, number 2 universities in the world at that time. I didn't know that, but I just got admission. I grabbed it, and after my 6-month training in Germany, went to California. Started a master's program in Berkeley. After going there, I realized that it was one of the greatest universities. It has now run down a little bit. It's probably the best public university today in the world, not the number 1 university when it was that time. I remember there were 12 Nobel laureates on the faculty when I was in Berkeley at that time.
Wow.
And, it was more than any other country also. And that was the time when Berkeley is right next to San Francisco. And that's where I went and joined Berkeley in 1962. I'm sorry, 1967. And that time, the hippie movement in America was in full swing. The anti-Vietnam War was in full swing. The Black Power session, things were going on. The student activities on the Berkeley campus was in full turmoil. And year 69 is one of the, a lot of years now, but in University of California, Berkeley is a noted year when it peaked, the student activity in Berkeley campus peaked. There are books written on 1969 in Berkeley. Anybody from California or anybody from those days, if American person you ask about 69 in Berkeley, they will tell you what happened there. I happened to be in that turmoil there. There was even a police firing on the campus, and one person died in that police firing, right in front of me. It was a very exciting time. I saw the democracy at work first time, and how the students' movement could take part in the American political life, how they really went out of the way. There are many stories from Berkeley days. After completing my master's in mechanical engineering, I chose a discipline called automatic control systems within that thing. And then there was an option that you could work in America for a couple of years, what they call practical training on a particular student visa. And I opted for that and joined a company in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, in a place called Palo Alto, right in the heart of what is today called Silicon Valley. It wasn't called Silicon Valley. Its old geographic name was Santa Clara Valley, was the name. But I worked in Palo Alto in a company which produced tape recorders and video recorders and all that, a frontline research area. So digital technology was just about around the corner, and a small company called Intel just being formed. The representatives from Intel used to come and show us some microchips that this is the shape of things and the new chips that are being coming. So it's an exciting area. I was, after my graduation, I worked in this company for about 3 years. The total about 4 years in America. And the whole microcomputer revolution, the personal computer revolution, the Apple, the IBM PC, which happened a little later, was all happening there. So I could even say that I really witnessed the birth of the microcomputer revolution or microelectronic revolution right there. Quite exciting time. And I enjoyed my stay there extremely well.
That's really insightful. I think you've witnessed the birth of a major revolution that's booming today, I think pretty much everywhere.
Absolutely.
Amazing. This was really insightful.
That's an exciting journey all through your education and university, and that wraps up the first round.
And Rajiv Gandhi's handpicked choice. So I had to face a very difficult election because the established leadership of the Congress Party didn't like my entry, and they tried to sabotage my election. Fortunately, I got elected, but unfortunately, Rajiv Gandhi got assassinated during the election. He and I decided together to do what you would today call a startup. Okay. Since I had a solid design experience for 4 years in America, 1 month, but unfortunately I got elected by a good margin and became a member of parliament from Karad, 1991 May. And that political innings started. And I ceased to be an hands-on engineer.
Very elaborately described how this thing quite literally happened overnight, right? With that one nomination from engineering to politics.